Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the April webinar for Gerber Scout Reservation. I'm Mary Steck. I am the camp director, and I will be your host for the webinar tonight. If you have questions as we go along, please type them into the chat. And Diana Marsh, who is one of our outdoor adventure staff, will be helping take a look at that. Tonight's agenda, we're going to talk about that final payment on the payment schedule, our refund policy, our DHHS registry clearance process and the form and how that is all handled. We're going to talk a little bit about food service as it's specific to Gerber, our camp-wide and evening activities that we have planned for you. We'll review the last steps for planning for camp, and then we'll take care of any questions and answers that you might have. So a little housekeeping for the night. All attendees are in listen-only mode. That means that you don't have that opportunity to chime in and talk, but we'd like you to enter your questions into the chat feature. We will answer those as we go along, and there will be a time to answer more at the end. The webinar is being recorded as always, and you'll be able to find that on the michiganscouting.org website. Give it a few days and it will be up there and ready for you to see. The recording and the slide deck are both posted to the website. So one of the things that we talk about each time that we get together is legendary camp service. That is our commitment to you, and it's one of the really important things that we focus on as we plan for camp. Next slide, Chris. Our commitment is that as camp staff, we are dedicating ourselves to providing our customers and guests a legendary scout camp experience while participating in our life-changing year-round camp programs. We are committed to providing facilities, programs, services, and camp leadership that will consistently exceed the expectations of our customers and guests. Our Michigan Scout camps will be safe haven for experiencing the best of the adventures and values of the Boy Scouts of America. Our planning focus as we work through the year getting ready for camp and that summer camp and camp all year round is we will strive to plan an innovative program that meets the needs of all Scouts and one that will be provided by qualified and talented staff. We will work diligently to plan and implement a high quality food service program. We will continue to upgrade and refresh our facilities, and we will engage you, our leaders, in our process and implementation. So first on the agenda tonight is the camp payment schedule. We've already talked about the first, second, and third payments, and you should have those pretty much in the system at this point. Our final payment is due on May 1st, which is about 10 days from now. So be thinking about getting that payment in. Next slide. And here's how you can do that. If you're going to go to the website, that's listed there. You're going to click look up or look up registration and have your registration number ready. So that payment can be made before the 1st using an e-check. You'll need a routing and account number or a credit card, and note that there is a convenience fee that's charged on every transaction, and that part is not refundable. That is a screenshot of what you'll see when you go to that site. And you should be pretty comfortable with that at this point because it's the 4th time you're going to go in there and make a payment. Next slide. For existing registrations, an additional $125 is now due for each youth participant slot. The camp fee due for new registrations at this time will be $225 per youth and $50 per adult participant. I'm thinking that we did not update this because our final payment is due May 1st. So what you're going to be paying will be the final amount that is due, and it will show on your registration form what that is. So your final payment should be $125 per youth, $110 per a full-time adult, $33 per day per part-time adult, and that is due May 1st. If you do not make that payment by the 1st, a $50 late fee will be assessed to all youth that are not paid in full. Late fees do not apply to new Scouts that are joining your troop or Arrow of Light crossovers. That does not apply to them. So your final payment to review is $125 per youth, which is the total of $350, $110 per full-time adult, which totals $160, and $33 per day per part-time adult. And that is due May 1st. Next slide, please. So camp scholarships. To be eligible, the following guidelines must be met. You have to be registered with Michigan Crossroads Council, and you have to be registered to attend a Michigan Crossroads Council BSA resident camp. Each person applying needs to complete their own application, and the assistance will be based on need and the unit's support of the mission of scouting through participation in the popcorn sale, although that is not a requirement. So if you have not participated, you can apply anyway. The applications are available through the end of May. The first round of awards was reviewed and looked at on April 1st. That was the preferred date. But if you haven't yet submitted and you have a family that is in need, please continue to fill out those forms and get those turned in. There is not that cutoff date of April 1st. Please fill out the applications, tell your families to get those turned in. The thing to note is that any family that is applying really can only qualify for one type of assistance, either the camp scholarship or a sibling discount. And that will be, you can wait until you receive that determination on a scholarship before you make that choice. The website on the bottom is how you're going to find that scholarship form. It's very easy to fill out. Parents can do it independently. It does not require your unit leader to have input or to sign or do anything like that. So get that out to your families and have them fill those out as soon as possible. Next slide, please. So we're also going to talk about the DHHS clearance process. This is something that applies to all adults over 18 that are coming to camp. This is per the state of Michigan Licensing and Regulatory Affairs, LARA, as we talk about it. All persons over the age of 21 who stay overnight or who visit camp that are attending any of our resident camps are required to submit a new clearance form each year. These persons are required to provide camp with an updated letter dated in 2022 upon their arrival to camp. For Michigan residents, my suggestion as a leader coming to camp, I would ask that you get that letter returned to you via email when you submit your form, and staple that to your health form. So when those forms come to us, it will be right attached to each adult's health form and easy for us to take care of that. For out-of-state participants, you are required to fill out and provide camp with a copy of your state's equivalent form. And if you need more information on that, please contact me as the camp director, and I can help you depending on the state that you are in, get that figured out. An email submission is the easiest for the quickest turnaround. Do not have them emailed to the camp. They will not be lost, but I will tell you they get down in the list pretty quick on the emails. Email them back to yourself, print it out, attach it to your health form, and we'll be all ready to go. If you have questions, if you're not finding the right form, again, send me an email, give me a call, and I will help you walk through that process. It's pretty easy. I did mine and got it back within just a few days. Next slide, please, Chris. So we're going to talk a little bit about food service tonight. That's not something we have talked about much in the previous one. So if you go to the next slide, we'll take a look at a possible menu. Well, we're going to talk about dietary. So scouts and leaders with dietary restrictions should complete a form included on the registration page. When you register an individual, it will actually ask you right then on that registration page about dietary restrictions. That is the place where you will do that and put that information in. At Gerber, gluten-free and vegetarian options will be available at each meal for those who indicate this preference on their form. Other special needs will be addressed as needed per the information provided on the form. If you have questions and concerns, or if you have a parent with questions or concerns, please have them contact me. We will do our best to meet each participant's medical needs. Dietary restrictions are really designed for those kinds of things, not for the scout who just doesn't happen to like green beans, and so he puts that on a form. So please keep that in mind. But new this year at Gerber, we're really going to start right from the get-go to have that gluten-free and vegetarian option available with every meal for those people who have indicated that's a need for them. Next slide. So here's our proposed menu. Those are being submitted to a dietitian and they're reviewed, but this is what is on the form as it's going to go in for our camp to be approved by the dietitian. So you can read through that. Breakfasts are pretty typical breakfast meals. They include generally an egg, some protein in the form of cheese or meat, bacon, sausage, that kind of a thing. Lunch is really intended to be more like a school lunch situation. We are going to serve lunch between 12 and 1. It's going to be an open cafeteria style. You can come in and eat as a unit. You can come in and let your scouts come individually. It's going to be come on in, go through the line, grab your food, clean up after yourself, bus your own tables, and you'll be able to leave. We are not lining up. We're not going to come in by units. This is going to be a much easier way to get that process through during our day. And as you see, it does look a whole lot like a school lunch. What you need to know there, adults, is that we will have specialty salads at lunch. It's a pre-order situation. We'll give you that form on Sunday when you check in. So if you're not into that school lunch form, you just need to let us know that you would like to order a salad on Tuesday and Thursday, and we will have that ready with your name on it when you come into the cafeteria. You need to know that we will have condiments available at all meals. They will be out there all the time, and hot coffee will be available in the cafeteria. Somebody wants to know if there's iced coffee available. Chris, I suppose if you need ice cubes for your coffee, we can make that happen. So, and again, as I talked about, we're going to have gluten-free and vegetarian versions of all meals ready to go. And so that will not be a special order situation. Our evening meals are a lot more like what you'd expect to find at home on your dinner table. You can kind of look through that. When you see on Mondays, which I didn't label them, but Monday pasta, so there's choices. There will always be that opportunity to have an Alfredo or a marinara, which gives you some options. Kids kind of like that. Wednesday night is campsite cooking. All food is provided for that to the units. It is our opportunity for units to make their own tinfoil dinners, cook over an open fire. It meets some of those requirements of your first year scouts, and it gives our staff an opportunity to have a night off and get some time to themselves and rejuvenate for the rest of the week. So if you have questions about that, let me know. What we typically do is a ham steak and potatoes and some vegetables, and there's a dessert that comes with that. And so it's all pre-cooked and needs to be warmed, so we don't worry about how well they've cooked their ground beef or whatever is going to go in there. So let me know if you have questions about that, but we provide all the food for that meal. And then Friday night is our special barbecue chicken dinner. It really is, we call it flippin' chicken. It happens outside. We picnic on the flag field before we go down to our fire bowl, and it's kind of a fun night for everybody. Next slide. So while we're on that topic of Friday night, let's talk about our camp-wide and evening activities. So this year we're doing something a little different because of our merit badge schedule. Our free time will happen in the evenings between 7:30 and 9:30. It should say on that slide, not 9 o'clock, 7:30 to 9:30. And we are putting on a program called the Gerber Classic. You see the little cards down in the bottom that say 2022 Gerber Classic. Every program area, aquatics, shooting sports, high adventure, will have cards available. Every youth who attends one or goes to one of those areas will get the card for that area. On the back will be 6 things that they can have marked off to earn some points. And so they can work together. They can go as a patrol, they can go individually. But the idea is that we get them to visit the different areas, participate in some of the activities are there. We'll collect those points, and there will be a method for turning in that information on Friday, and there will be some recognition for earning all those points. Monday is open in aquatic, shooting sports, high adventure, as is Tuesday and Thursday. Wednesday is a camp-wide game night. As I mentioned earlier, that is when the majority of our staff will have their night off. We have a wide range of games available and planned to keep units and youth busy that night. Some will be individual things, some will be things that can be done as a patrol, some will be as a unit. We'll have some tournaments going on, physical games, also just some table games, card games, and things that will keep everybody busy for a couple of hours that evening. And then Friday night, We have family time during the afternoon. Anytime after lunch, families are welcome to come. They can tour camp, they can visit the various program areas and see what's going on there. We'll have our flippin' chicken dinner and closing fire bowl, which involves unit participation. So the one thing I did not talk about is the card that says Gerber Classic Challenge. There will be challenge cards in all of the program areas. And the challenge card is something special. If you attended Gerber last summer, you know a little bit about the El Capitan Challenge at the climbing tower. We have expanded that program to incorporate 6 different areas that are a special challenge. So we will again do the El Capitan Challenge at the climbing tower. We are going to do, so just so you understand, that is the equivalent of climbing El Capitan. They'll do that much of a climb. We're going to do a program at Aquatics called the Mighty Max Swim. That's a 4-mile swim. They'll have all week to accomplish that 4 miles, but as they log all their time, that will be done on that special challenge card. We will do a cycling challenge. We obviously will do our shooting sports marksmanship challenge. We have a special Scoutmaster challenge that is new this year to Gerber, but it will be something that Scoutmasters can work on all week long and accomplish that particular challenge task. And we have a service challenge card to recognize those folks who choose to do some extra service while they're at camp. All of these things will result in collecting some points. There will be recognition, some special things that will be handed out to the kids that accomplish tasks during the course of the week. And they will get that information more specifically on Sunday night at the Fire Bowl when they get there. So someone has a question about no Order of the Arrow call out or ordeal. I'm not really sure how to answer that question yet. We are working with the Order of the Arrow to get those things in place. We are very open at camp to making that happen. I have been working with the Order of the Arrow for the past 3 months to get that settled. We are still not quite there, but I assume that it will happen in some form or another, but I cannot give you any details on that yet. Will there be a Gerber Classic Challenge for the trading post? No, Chris, there will not. But I can tell you that Jill, our trading post manager, will be handling our service challenge. She is the person to see for that, and she will be handling those kinds of special things for those who want to do some extra service. Question was, is the DHHS for parents required for parents on Friday? Yes, it is required of all visitors and staff over the age of 21 and older. It's pretty easy to do. It takes about 5 minutes to fill out the request, and you email it in, and that's all it takes. Next slide, please. Planning for camp. We've kind of talked about this before, and we'll review some of these same things. So the ideal timeline between April and May 1st is to collect a copy of each participant's health form and release of camper form, which is part of that form. We do not return originals, so please make copies of these forms as you collect them. My request is that you put them in alphabetical order by youth and adult in a binder or a folder of some sort, so that when you check into camp, you'll be able to take that folder right to the health officer and go through those things and get them checked in. Again, the DHHS form for adults, staple it to their health form. You need parts A, B, and C. So you're going to collect the last $125 per youth camper and the last $110 from each adult, and then your $33 fee from your part-time adults, and make your final payment on time before May 1st. Next slide. As a hint from Chris, he said make copies of your DHHS form. If you're going to be visiting other MCC camps, it would be a good thing to have an extra copy of it for you for the rest of the year. So between May 1st and June 1st, you're going to work on and make sure that you have your transportation arrangements already made, how to get to and from camp. When are you going to leave? Who's going to drive? What's the pickup time? How are they going to get home again at the end of the week? Make sure you have all those arrangements in place. And to your parents, you're going to collect youth protection training forms, proof of BSA membership, and your clearance forms for all the adults attending camp. Collecting that youth protection training form is new this year. Again, for adults, just make a copy of that certificate, attach it to their health forms. That's the easiest way to do it. It's pretty easy to do. You go to my.scouting and you can print it out. I did mine tonight because I'm headed to camp school in a couple of days. And then if you are an out of council unit, you need your council's accident insurance form that you'll turn into us. Next slide, please. So 2 weeks before you come to camp, have your SPL and your scribe complete your camp roster sheet. That form is available on the michiganscouting.org website. Confirm again those final transportation arrangements. Inventory all of your unit equipment. Make sure you have everything you need for when you come to camp. Set up, inspect your tents. Nothing like getting to camp and finding out you don't have the poles to your tents. We are using your own tents this year again, as we did last year. I have a few extras. If you have somebody who just does not have one, please let me know and we'll help you out. Make sure that all of your required paperwork is organized and ready to transport and ready to turn in when you get to camp. Call camp to confirm any special dietary needs if you need to. They should be on your registration form. And then this says prerequisite slip signed by unit leader. Gerber does not use a prerequisite slip. We are perfectly content if you bring us a partial and a blue card, or if you print out the workbook pages for the merit badge and have those signed by that merit badge counselor that worked with them on their prerequisites. So back to the questions a minute. Yes, parents must have that DHS clearance form. They don't need one to drop off or pick up, but if they're going to stay and leave the parking lot, they will need to have that form because they will have to check in at that point and provide us with that form. So again, think about putting all of your required paperwork into a binder. That's the easiest way for us to process you into camp. We will again do check-ins by appointment. We will schedule those based on where your campsite is. We generally start at the back of camp and work to the front. We will meet any special needs that you have. I mean, if you're traveling a distance and you need a later time or you need an earlier time, let me know. We can accommodate those without any difficulty, but we'll check in 2 units at a time. It works pretty smoothly and we don't have that backup in the parking lot that we've had in years past. So if you have questions about that, send me an email and I'd be glad to share some more information. Next slide, please. So our next webinar is May 17th. It's a month from now, 7 p.m. That will be our last webinar before we get ready to come to camp. Please let anybody, your leaders, know that we will be there and ready to go with that webinar. Question, will there be slushies this year? Of course there will be slushies this year. And we will have a brand new slushie machine that works better than the old one. And yes, we will have slushies as always. I think that brings us to the question and answer slide, Chris, does it? Yeah. So if you have any questions, now would be the time to pull them into the chat room. Between Diana and Chris and I will make sure we can handle those questions for you. If not, I thank you for your time tonight. Remember that this is available for anyone who wants to see this on the website, and I am always available for phone calls and emails, and we'll answer those in as timely manner as I can. Can we use reusable mugs for the slushies? We do not currently have a program with reusable mugs for slushies. But it's a good question. Any other questions for the night? I know that many of you have families that are coming to camp for the first time and they come with a lot of questions. Please share my information. I will be happy to chat with any parent who needs some more information or some reassurance about how things will go for their youth while they're at camp. please share my information. My phone number is fine, my email is fine, and I will answer texts as well. If we don't have any other questions, then I think we're good to go for the night. Thank you again for coming. Thank you for signing up for coming to Gerber. We're excited to have you with us this summer. We've got some great new things happening at camp. And thank you for all the things that you do for the scouts in your units to make sure that they have that opportunity to go to camp. We really appreciate that. Again, thank you, and we will see you at camp.